Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA video, we're going to be talking about 15 things that you can do when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online that nobody else does. So about 8 months ago, we did a part 1 of this video that is closely closing in on 1 million views, so thank you guys so much for the support on that. So I figured, why not, let's make a part 2. So I looked at some of the comments you guys left. I also did some deep thinking on what I would want to do if I was bored in online. So anyways, let's dive into it. The first thing today, one of the newer vehicles that Rockstar's introduced, the Arena Sasquatch, is awesome for driving in the water. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, and this vehicle isn't advertised as amphibious, but it kind of is. Now, you can't drive out into the middle of the ocean or the lake or anything like that, but you can go out a fair distance. So it's actually kind of like a cool trick that you can do if you have friends that might not know about this, or you're just looking to escape someone or escape the cops. You can actually drive in the water. They can't. So it's actually kind of effective, as well as being like a cool little party trick that you can show to other friends and players around the map. So the Arena Sasquatch, kind of underrated when it comes to that, as you can just go about driving in the water, which is really cool. Speaking of vehicles, at the number 2 spot today, go through all your garages and maybe drive some vehicles that you haven't pulled out in a while. Whether it be lowriders from back in the day, or whether it be one of the original supercars you purchased, just go out and drive some of the cars that you don't seem to focus on a lot, because nowadays everyone wants the best, the fastest supercars, sports cars, motorcycles, the coolest weaponized vehicles. But you've got all this garage space and cars for a reason, so you might as well grab some of those older vehicles, especially when you're just driving about. I mean, if you've got nowhere to be in a hurry, pick a vehicle that you think is fun or has some sentimental value to you, and you might discover a couple new things about it that you might not have noticed before. Number 3, try some of the lesser-known missions. So Rockstar has been doing a good job in Grand Theft Auto Online of keeping the game updated with contact missions, and even some of the characters like Simeon and Gerald getting their own types of missions. But go back and do some of the older ones that you either never got around to when the game was first out, or you just haven't played in maybe 5 or 6 years. And this can be things like contact missions or classic races that Rockstar have introduced. In fact, some of them actually have some really fun themes that might be cool for your own sort of crew get-togethers or events, especially if you're celebrating like a holiday or whatnot. So go ahead and check out some of the job menus. Rockstar created like hundreds of them, and there's no way you've played all of them. So it's a great thing to jump into if you really are bored. Number 4 today, change your outfits, or start developing outfits for different types of scenarios. So what I mean by that is go through all of your outfits and maybe put together an outfit for riding on a motorcycle, an outfit for when you're up in the mountains, an outfit when you're casually walking around the city, an outfit when you're engaging another player in combat. And this will actually make your character feel a whole lot more realistic, because let's face it, if you walk into a clothing store in full body armor, it seems a little bit strange. However, if you were to walk into a high-end clothing store in a more posh outfit, that seems about right. Just like if you were walking down the beach, you wouldn't be really in a full suit or a tuxedo. So developing custom outfits for your character and sort of giving them a refreshed look is a cool way in which you can sort of realistically move them about the world and have some fun creating some new outfits along the way. Number 5, being a good bounty hunter. So I don't think anyone enjoys getting a bounty put on them, whether it's from another player or whether it's from an NPC if you steal their car. However, one thing you can do as a bounty hunter is actually return the cash to the player in which you got the bounty off of. There's actually a feature in game that you might not have known about where you can actually just give the money back to a certain player, or even the entire lobby. And some people will even go about being like this benefactor Santa Claus, just dropping like $500 to each player. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a fun way in which you can get a bounty off of someone and give them the money back. So it's sort of a win-win situation. At the number 6 spot today, going to one of the gang territories like the Ballas, Vagos, or families and starting a gang war. So oftentimes you really don't even have to do much. You could just look at someone the wrong way, and then all of a sudden you've got about 14 different handguns pointed at you, and they all start firing. It's actually kind of cool because it's literally a free-for-all, except it's like 1 versus 30. Another thing you could do is also just call the cops to that area if you wanted to start it another way. What you can do is just call 911 or dial the emergency services in game, and the cops will actually show up to an area like Grove Street, and then you can just watch all the chaos break loose. It's actually really fun to see what goes about, and if you get involved, it's pretty fun as well. The number 7 spot today, cruising down some of that mountain roads close to the city. So I'm not talking about areas like Mount Chiliad, even though that is fun to do it in and of its own. I'm talking about the areas like right behind the Vinewood Hills near the Vinewood sign. There are some amazing roads where you can just get a vehicle with a convertible or that is topless and just go cruising on a nice sunny day. Just go around the mountains, take in all the big mansions that you can look at, the sight lines, really the wildlife that you'll be able to see. It's relaxing because it's far enough away from the city, but you're not like out in the middle of nowhere. So you can still see like planes landing at the airport and helicopters landing on top of the business buildings in the city. So it's really fun, especially if you've got the right car. So go cruising around some of those mountains. The number 8 spot today, be non-hostile in a hostile vehicle. So what I'm talking about is like a laser jet or a Oppressor Mark II, but instead of using it for its griefing purposes, just go around flying about the city. One fun thing I like to do is when someone's delivering cargo and you pull up next to them in an Oppressor Mark II, you can only imagine how nervous they get. They're like, oh boy, here we go. I'm going to get my cargo destroyed. But when you just turn out to be the good guy or just sort of along for the ride, it's kind of like a weird relief. You're like, oh my gosh, why is that guy in the Oppressor still following me? But he didn't kill me, so he must be a good guy. So it's kind of fun for both parties, at least when they figure out that you're a good guy. And it's refreshing to see someone in an Oppressor Mark II that doesn't just kill you instantly. The number 9 spot today, find a waterfall or some high object and just do a total dive into the water below. So this is something I've done in real life, and it is incredibly fun. It's also a little frightening if you're afraid of heights. But if you ever find one of the big waterfalls in game, like Two Hoot Falls or one of the big bridges where you can just dive off of, it is so much fun to do. Especially if you dress up for the attire, kind of like what I explained earlier. You get into a pair of swimsuits or a swim outfit and you just have like a fun water area. There's some really epic places to check out, especially outside of the city. So I would definitely recommend giving that a whirl. The number 10 spot today, only use certain vehicles. So just like with the cars, we kind of get caught up on the ones that are the best or the most effective. Set yourself like a custom inventory of only like 2 or 3, or if you want to be really difficult, 1 weapon, and then just prioritize on that. It's going to make your fights with NPCs and other players a whole lot interesting because you won't be able to bail yourself out with like a rocket launcher or a sniper rifle. So you'll also be able to learn about the weapons themselves, get a whole lot better with them. You might end up customizing them, and at the end of the day, you might like them a whole lot better. So just try this with a whole lot of the weapons in game. Fortunately for you, there's really no shortage of the things that Rockstar have ultimately added, so you will have no problem picking out a good selection. At the number 11 spot today, I saw this listed, and it's kind of morbid, taking the easy way out in front of another player before you log off. So, you know when you take the easy way out, you either take a pill or you end up shooting yourself, and then your body just sort of falls to the ground. Well, if you do that at the exact same time you're logging off, it literally looks like you've just like permanently removed yourself from the world, especially in front of another player. I told you it's kind of morbid, but if you do that and the other player then sees you vanish from the lobby altogether, they're going to be like, what the heck just happened? Did this guy like permanently leave? Is this character coming back to life? What's going on here? So I actually found that to be very, very creative. And sort of building off of that at the number 12 spot today, another creative thing I've seen people do is actually going into their apartments or their CEO office, taking a shower, changing into clothes that are more suitable for like logging off or going to bed, and then putting their character in bed before they actually log off. That right there is some serious dedication. It kind of makes me wonder if I've been doing this wrong the whole time when I just either turn off my console or close my application. It seems like some players are taking it to the extreme, making sure their players are completely tucked in and ready to go to bed as soon as they are in the real world too. So definitely very creative. The number 13 spot today, I found this one to be really funny, and I've actually done this with a couple vehicles in the past. Drive without doors. Now, a way you can do this is open the doors on your interaction menu, and then find something like a light pole and reverse into them. And if you do this correctly, you shouldn't have really any scratches on the car. You'll just have the doors removed. This actually looks good on a handful of off-roading vehicles and Jeeps, and you can even find some like buggy cars that look really great with no attachments on there. There's sort of like these topless versions of the cars that you can create. It takes a little bit of extra work, but if you're going to something like a car show or whatnot, it can add just a little bit of uniqueness that'll set you apart from the rest of the crowd. The number 14 spot today, I found this one to be hysterical. Dress up as an NPC and see how long you can survive. So in order to do that, you're going to want to analyze what some of the NPCs wear in game. Unfortunately, they have some articles of clothing that we don't have access to, but for the most part, all of them are very casual. And then you just want to do things that they do. Walk around, drive very slowly in vehicles, and see how long you can survive. I bet in a popular lobby, you wouldn't really make it much longer than 10 or 15 minutes before someone either accidentally runs you over or your disguise is blown and someone decides to shoot you. And last but not least, at the number 15 spot today, exercise. So it doesn't matter what you do. You could go to the track located at the university. You could take your BMX bike to the skate park. You could dress up in running attire and go to the Vespucci Beach Boulevard. Just get some exercise. It really has no benefit for your character unless you've already ranked up all your stamina. But if you want to take your fitness very seriously and you're doing so in real life, you might want to think to your character, hey, you need to get in shape too, buddy. Stop eating all those P's and Q's and meteorite bars from the store. We need to get in better shape. So you can do some fun activities like that. It's even cooler if you do it in a group setting, like you have a bunch of BMX bikes at the skate park, or you could even get together and do an entire race at the track at the university. That's actually really fun, and you can see which person finishes in first. But anyways, that right there is 15 things that you can do when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online that pretty much no one else does to keep the game fresh and exciting. I would, of course, love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are some other things that you do when you're bored in Grand Theft Auto Online that you don't think anyone else does? Let us know in the comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.